Far in the northern reaches of Ontario and Manitoba lies a vast, unspoiled wilderness, sprawling for over 1 million square kilometers. First Nations, explorers, and fur traders have long paddled the storied waters of this remote and unforgiving region. The Ojibwe peoples who call this land home know it as the land of the original people, and the early fur traders bestowed upon it the namesake of Le Petit Nord. This is the Little North. This would be a trying journey through untamed waters. Guided by whispers of the past and grappling with the challenges of the present, we set out to explore over 450 kilometers of paddling history. There's a certain draw to the mystique and relative unknown of a forgotten passage. Retracing the past, however, is not for the faint of heart, and the land doesn't give up her secrets and stories easily. Those who move in sync with the rhythm of the land are rewarded with unspoiled splendor, solitude, and a deep connection to the world around them. Our journey is centered on the waters of the Cat and Throat rivers, two systems that flow in opposite directions to their eventual confluence with the icy waters of the Arctic Ocean. The crossover between these two mighty waterways was once a well-used fur trade route, but has since faded from memory, only to be swallowed up by the primordial expanse of the northern boreal forest. Our plan would have us depart from the Shabomani River and paddle west through Birch Lake to the large, unspoiled lakes of the Cat River system. We would then attempt what few in the modern era set out to accomplish, and cross the height of land to the remote headwaters of the Throat River. Paddling the Throat from its early beginnings to its eventual confluence with the Barrens River promised to offer up hardship, triumph, adventure, and one unforgettable experience. No matter the outcome, we knew the journey would leave a lasting mark, and we couldn't wait to see what lay before us as we paddled across the Little North.
All right, it is August 22nd. Brad and I are just about to start our big trip. Now we are on a logging road northeast of Ear Falls, which is just a little bit south of Red Lake.
To access the heart of the Little North for our canoe trip, we drove down to the dusty end of one of the northernmost roads in the region.
Our friend Albert from Gold Seekers Outfitting out of Red Lake, Ontario has kindly shuttled us for this big trip. So we're working our way down the logging road right now. And then in 375 kilometers, he'll pick us up on the other end.
Gold Seekers, we provide kind of complete or partial outfitting, guided trips, kind of whatever it takes to put people on the water within the Red Lake district. It's literally hundreds of thousands of square miles of parkland and wilderness to explore. Probably, in my mind, it's some of the best water in the country. We have just so much of it, so wild, so few people. Just a great place to be.
We've been dying to get out to this portion of the province because it's so beautiful. Finally this year we were able to commit to taking a good chunk of time. So Brad reached out to Albert and asked, about a couple ideas we had in our mind, and Albert was able to provide a lot of expertise and help us figure out the best place to launch the boat, where there's some good sites that we may want to stay at, areas to avoid.
I suppose I'll tell you what I tell most people that go on a trip. Make sure you keep the open side up when you're out there.
We plan on doing that.
Alrighty.
Let's go!
on the river, babes. Can you believe it? We're about to start a big, epic canoe trip.
Our journey began on the placid waters of the Shabomani River. Paddling downstream, the realization of what we were undertaking slowly sunk in. From this point onward, we were traveling through a pristine, roadless wilderness. It was now just the two of us, our canoe, and over 450 kilometers of the Little North.
This looks like a little Class 1 boulder garden on the Shabomani River. So we're just gonna shoot into this little pool and then see what lies further on down. So let's give it a go. It's a bit shallow. All right.
The few short rapids we encountered on the Shabomani hinted at what was to come later on in our journey and allowed us to brush up on our lining and wading skills.
We have made it to the lake, and of course, whitecaps and a pretty beefy headwind. We thought we'd get to camp early, but it's a pretty bushy looking lake from our vantage point here. I mean, there might be some nice spots around, but it's windy, so it makes finding a spot extra difficult.
As we entered Shabomani Lake, we would begin a 200-kilometer section through the Cat River watershed, largely dominated by sprawling, windswept lakes.
All right, so we made it to our first camp of the trip on Shabomani Lake. When we got to the lake here, the wind was howling, and there were some pretty big whitecaps. We didn't have the spray deck on just yet. We're gonna put it on early in the morning before we set out. But they were actually starting to crest over the bow, and it was getting on in the day, and we've been on the road since about 6 a.m. this morning. And with the time change too, that adds another hour. So it's almost about 5 a.m. since we've been on the road. So really long day. We wanted to get to a site in decent time, so we pulled in here around 6 o'clock. This little island, just kind of spied it as we were going down the shore, a few flat rocks, but it was a really bushy site. So Leah and I actually spent about 30 minutes cutting out a tent pad and a spot to have the fire out in the rocks here. We are following an old historic fur trade route, and because this region doesn't see a whole lot of recreational paddlers going through, it's quite possible that not really many people have stayed since those fur traders or voyageurs stayed here eons ago. Pretty cool. Good morning. We are about to head off down Shabomani Lake and down the river. Bit of a gray day, and the wind really didn't let up last night. Bit of a mild chop. Got the spray deck on the canoe today, so we're good to go face some of the bigger waves if we get out there, but hopefully not. Hopefully today the headwinds aren't too strong and we can put some mileage behind us, because we do have quite a bit of distance to go today. Yeah, looks to be an exciting day out here, and we can't wait to hit the water. All right, first rapids we're gonna run on the Shabomani River. Class 1, little bouldery though. So we'll just watch ourselves. Nice. To the right of that boulder's a ledge, but we'll be able to get down it, okay? Cross, draw, cross, draw. Now draw, 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 draw. Yes, nice, nice, nice. Keep drawing. Perfect. Well done. Good job, babe.
We have ourselves a bunch of cranberries. whole area is covered in them. So used to seeing blueberries, not so much cranberries.
It's turned out to be a really gorgeous day out here. Winds really died down in this river system, and it's calm, and she is hot. But yeah, we're making pretty good progress so far. Just stopping here for lunch. And we really don't have much in the way of any more portages or obstacles. There's one 300-meter portage to get us from Birch to Springpole, and we're probably about 5 or 6K from Birch Lake right now. We'll see maybe about 15 to 20 kilometers roughly to get to a site tonight. So lots of time, just past noon, so we're looking good. I don't think you'll ever have a problem with firewood up here. We've made it to Birch Lake now. So we're gonna go down this narrow bay, and then eventually we're gonna get out to the maze of islands that makes up Birch Lake. A little tricky to navigate, it looks like, from the map if you're not paying attention because there's so many islands. But we've got pretty much a straight across west to east. So we'll get that portage in a couple hours.
20K down, 20 more to go.
This is huge. This would be what the Muskoka Lakes would be like if they didn't have cottages all over them.
Yeah. That's haunting.
The Little North is steeped in a rich history of use by First Nations, prospectors, trappers, fur traders, and explorers. Early into our journey, we were already met with whispers of the past from those who had come and gone before us.
We've been seeing claim posts pretty much throughout the entire trip. An old mining claim post, which makes sense because the geology in the area is quite impressive. For all those geology buffs out there, check out this sick rock. Naturally, there would be people prospecting in the area. We're actually approaching a pretty major exploration camp on Springpole Lake. This is a traditional First Nation fish camp and hunt camp that they'll go to throughout the summer and winter probably. Here they would put a tarp around it, and that's where they would smoke their meat. Just when you think you're completely alone up here, you come across stuff like this and you realize that even in the far north, it's active with human activity.
The portage from Birch to Springpole is just one in a network of countless ancient footpaths that have been traveled for thousands of years. In the Little North, elements of a traditional lifestyle still persist, despite the encroachments of an ever-advancing world. The nearby communities of Slate Falls and Cat Lake First Nations still use the trail networks of the Cat Lake watershed to access traditional fishing and hunting grounds. We owed our ease of travel to the keepers of these pathways since time immemorial.
Wow, what a day. We did about 41 kilometers. We're on Springpole Lake right now. It was just a good push trying to get these kilometers behind us. At the start of the trip, we have a lot of these larger lake systems, and the reason we're trying to push right now is because we're not really sure what the headwaters of the throat are going to be like. I'm thinking it's not going to be easy, and there's going to be a bit of a challenge to it. Nice little site here. We hacked out of the bush again. There's storms moving across on the far side, but there's patches of blue up there, so odd weather. We're hoping that the rain stays off and we don't have to string a tarp up. Unfortunately too, we're getting closer to September, so we don't have as much light to lounge around the camp at the end of the day here, so sitting around the fire instead. Yeah, that's what I'm prepared to Gorgeous morning here. We are on day number 3 and we're going to be making our way down Springpole Lake. Day 3, big day. What are you feeling?
Excited. It's gonna be long. It's gonna be another long day, like another 40 plus K day. But it's really sunny. and it's beautiful out. It's gonna be fun. I mean, the lakes look pretty big and they look gorgeous. There's some rapids in the middle of the day around the 25-kilometer mark. Hopefully they're runnable, because that would suck to have to portage them all.
We're going to be heading down south for a while, and then we're going to turn to the east, which looks favorable for us today because the wind is coming from the west, so hopefully we'll have a tailwind. Good time of making our way down Spring Pole. Just pulled up to a lovely little beach here, but we got a nice tailwind whipping through here now. Push us along. Got a decent tailwind here on Spring Pole Lake. It's honestly probably the most scenic lake we've seen on this trip so far. This entire north shore that we're flanking right now is kind of lined with like these small cliffs, and there's all these little dotted islands around on this lake with these smooth rock points jutting out. Even if there's not a lot of established sites, it looks like easy enough places to set up a tent. Really gorgeous area though.
On a journey like this, you move when the weather is favorable. The winds are always fickle at best, so when a stiff breeze runs its course on your heading, you embrace it and move swiftly, in sync with the rhythm of the land.
Spring Pole Lake's about 20 kilometers long, pretty narrow lake, and then at its exit there's a series of rapids. Looks like class 2, class 1, maybe class 3, hard to tell. I just kind of looked at the satellite and kind of roughly decided what classifications they are. So we won't know until we get down there. Looks like it's going through some old burn areas too, so there might be some sweepers and strainers we got to keep an eye out for. And then after that we get on the Cat River system and work our way up north towards the throat. We've got our first decent set of rapids of the trip. It's about a class 2. Pretty straightforward. We're gonna keep to the left, but there's a bit of a wave train at the end we might need to brace through. Got the deck on here because we're probably gonna have a bit of water going over the bow. Looks like a pretty clean, fun run, so, you know, first big one of the trip. Let's have some fun on this one. Ready, babes? Okay. So we can funnel right here. Okay, yeah, left. Left. Now cross draw, cross draw, cross draw, cross. Straight down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah, so we'll just take the V down and then avoid that rock, go to the right of that rock at the end, see? So we made it to Gull Lake, pretty blown away. Literally we got a nice big tailwind right now, but this is a really big lake. A lot of windswept jack pines out on these really big open exposed rocks. Really impressed. Wasn't really sure what Gull Lake was going to look like, but ever since we got on spring pole today, the scenery's been just outstanding, and Gull Lake hasn't disappointed either. If it was a little later in the day, we'd definitely camp at this site because it is fantastic. Massive big rock sloping down to the water, and gorgeous sweeping views of the entire lake. So we still want to put some kilometers behind us. We're going to paddle down the lake a bit. Plus we have a favorable tailwind, so we're going to take advantage of that and move on. Oh, that tailwind is so nice. It's got a sail up almost. So for camp for night 3, we're here at north end of Gull Lake near Thistle Island. We wanted to get a bit of distance behind us again today, and we went about 40 kilometers. A lot of really nice sights on Gull Lake. Not as many up here near Thistle Island, but fortunately we spotted this really nice piece of Canadian shield rock coming right down to the water. So perfect spot for us to set up the tent and have a nice fire. Actually made good time, got here at 5:30, so we have a little more time to relax tonight, and that's not bad for hauling a good 40 kilometers a day.
Setting up camp where the land, weather, and time permits. It's an age-old rhythm of the Little North. The places we stop have likely sheltered passerbys of the past, from the First Nations to the fur traders and recreational paddlers of today. If the land could speak, she would captivate you with unending tales of those who have passed through before.
What's tonight's dinner?
It is 2 different types of curry, chana masala and then some black bean lentil curry mixed together with rice. Looks appealing, eh? With toasted naan. And our big box of wine that we thought we'd be way further through than we are, but we're not. That we're trying to make our way through so we don't have to portage it over the headwaters.
Tomorrow we're going to make it up through Zions and hopefully get up towards Cat Lake. We're going to see what happens with the wind direction. So another big day. We're going to try to get up early for that one too. We just want to get these big lakes behind us just in case the wind shifts and we get caught and we have to slog. So yeah, we had a nice tailwind today, and hopefully we have a tailwind tomorrow because it's helping moving us along. Good morning. It's gray, it's cold, it's rainy, and it's windy. The wind did not stop at all last night and continued to blow through this morning. Now there's bits of mist coming in. Checking the satellite forecast, looks like we're expecting some heavy rain later today, later tonight. So we're actually getting on the water pretty early. It's about 7:45 right now. We're just leaving Gull Lake behind and now we're entering the Cat River. Basically the Cat River at this section is a lot of large lakes followed by just a couple little kilometers of small river in between. Only a few portages, which makes it actually a really easy river to travel upstream on. Even though these rivers kind of drain out towards the Arctic watershed, the Cat River is interesting because it kind of flows north to south and then branches off on a bunch of different systems. So luckily for us, there's not a whole lot of portages or current as we make our way up this river here. So we're making our way up the Cat River system right now, and the wind's coming from the east. Now we've got some bigger lake crossings on the Cat River to go through today. So we'll see how choppy some of those waters get. There's some islands and stuff we can dart in behind, but there's a lot of big water paddling. Now let's hope they don't get any worse. I mean, they're not supposed to, but you never know what happens in these big open lakes, right? We have to take that longer route around the island at Zion, so we have to take the longer route. Hopefully the rain holds off till we get to camp, or at least get really close to camp. I'm gonna try to put a little more kilometers behind us today. Maybe not as aggressive as the last couple days, but we'll see. If that wind does shift to a tailwind, we'll take advantage of it and try to hammer out a few more kilometers. But yeah, our goal of the day is Cat Lake, so we'll see if we get there. Out on Zion's Lake now, just darting between some of these islands, and actually the wind has been somewhat in our favor as we've been making the crossing here. Kind of interesting because Gull Lake had lots of smooth, flat, typical Canadian shield rock, but Zion's Lake has a lot of these bouldery little island chains with scraggly spruce on them, a bit more sandy beaches. Just working our way down here, have to watch out for some shoals and stuff, especially with some of the waves out there, but pretty cool. Some interesting rocks and stuff out here too. Lots of little potholes in some of the rocks and bits of limestone, so you can tell that you know, when the glaciers were moving through here, there was a lot of running water as well. Really interesting spot. Sun's starting to poke through the clouds too, so it looks like the rain is holding off, so fingers crossed we have better weather ahead too.
Are you like purposely steering them into me?
No, it's just they're hitting me too. As we move out past some of these islands, there's about an 800-meter open water crossing, and given the fact that the last little bit of open water crossing wasn't too bad, we're hoping that this continues. Now you might want to, Neil. Kind of in the most open spot of the lake now. I mean, you can see like 8K on either side, or 6K, whatever. But I think we're about 3/4 of the way across now though. Ooh. Made it across the islands. Back up the Cat River we go. Whew. All right.
Mr. Canoe Head. So we're on the 600-meter portage on the Cat River, heading up to Kapikak Lake. It's an incredible portage. It's not only like very scenic and well marked, but it's like incredibly clear. Although we are approaching the grouse zone, and this thing likes to just jump out and scare me. Look at the size of this white spruce. Absolutely huge.
The unfortunate truth about upstream travel. They're bypassing some pretty great looking rapids, and you just gotta haul your gear alongside it. Much easier than walking through the bush though. So we're here, working our way up here. Another big lake. Lots of big lakes in this area. made it for camp for the night. We're here on Kapikak Lake. We wanted to get towards Cat Lake, but behind us it's really clouding over. It's getting really dark. Temperature's dropping a little bit, and it's really calm right now. We had a lot of wind, and it kind of feels like the calm before the storm. The satellite messenger was telling us that we're getting up to potentially 50 millimeters of rain. So even though we didn't get as far as we wanted to go today, we're gonna get hunkered down. Really nice beach site here actually, and there's a really good spot for a tent back up in the bush there. So we're gonna settle in for the night here, relax a little bit, get the tarp up, and then hang out until the storms come in. But this is absolutely gorgeous scenery out here. Haven't seen a soul. Fantastic paddling. Can't beat it.
You got a hood, I didn't get a hood. You got a mosquito on your face. Just made you slap yourself. Kidding. I'm kidding. There's a mosquito on your face.
What a perfect day today for chili. It's rehydrating nicely, and it's pouring rain out there. It's really cold. This is exactly what I had in mind when we were planning our meals. Chili is usually reserved for a really cold day when it's rainy and kind of crummy out. So this is gonna warm us up inside. It's also super tasty. It's a perfect meal, I'd say.
Perfect meal for a near perfect day. Good on a rainy day?
I think I'd give you a run for your money on this rendition of chili. Of hot bowl. Woo.
It's coming out heavy, and we might get up to 50 millimeters, which is quite a bit of rain. So we're still on lakes for tomorrow, and then we go up the river, and then we get to the headwaters, and then once we get down the headwaters, that's where we could use a bit of rain. So hopefully all the lakes hold all this moisture for us and slowly trickle down the throat.
When you travel on nature's schedule, you sometimes make unexpected stoppages. While the rain may have forced us ashore earlier than anticipated, we were rewarded with the splendor of a sweeping golden beach. That night, we slowly drifted off to the sounds of heavy rain pelting off the fly and dreamed of clear skies on Cat Lake.
Well, it's a gray, overcast morning here. We're going to try to work our way up towards Cat Lake today, see if we get towards the top of the lake. Nice calm morning out here, so we're hoping we can put some kilometers behind us. Scenery's really been pretty cool. It's been really varied. Kapikak Lake here has tons of these awesome sandy beaches, and they made for an awesome place to camp for the night. As we get towards Cat Lake as well, we know there's going to be more beaches as well, so maybe we'll stop there for lunch and do some exploring. We can't wait to hit the water today and see what's in store. So more of these large lakes, but once we get north of Cat, that's going to be the last of our really big lake travel for the duration of the trip. So try to get these bigger lakes behind us because we know they can be temperamental with the winds. With some of these gray skies behind us, we might get more storms today. So let's see how she goes.
Leaving Kapikak Lake behind, we soon entered the sweeping expanse of Cat Lake. Home to the Ojibwe of Cat Lake First Nation, it was the last of the large lakes on our journey and the final vestige of civilization before the great unknown of the Throat River watershed.
Calm, no rain, and tailwind. I mean, that's what dreams are made out of. Canoe tripping dreams. So we made it to Cat Lake now. Really, really big lake, and we fortunately have a tailwind. It's like something like 30 or 40 kilometers long if you go from one end to the other. And kind of our route is pretty much taking us up the entire length of Cat Lake.
We're right here, somewhere around right here. We want to get tonight. So, I don't know, probably like another 27 kilometers. With this tailwind, it shouldn't take too long. Well, too long. It'll take us at least 6 to 8 hours, but whatever. We're in the boat. Who cares?
In planning for this trip too, knowing that we had to haul some big kilometer days, I brought my double blade. Normally when I'm paddling, I'll always paddle single blade, but for some days where we really want to move at a faster clip, I'll bring the double blade. Whereas with the single blade, we're averaging like 5 to 6 kilometers an hour. With the double blade, we'll go anywhere from 7 to 10 kilometers an hour. This is great. I did not think we'd get a southerly tailwind. Use the double blade, get down the lake a little bit. It just affords us a little more flexibility when we get to the headwaters of the throat, because we really don't know what's going to happen when we get there in terms of portage conditions, if we're going to have to bushwhack or not. So we really want to make pretty much every kilometer count up to the throat, and then once we get to the throat we can relax and reassess after we get past those headwaters. Super nice place to relax for a little bit here on this beach. A lot of great camping opportunities actually along some of these sandy beaches. Cat Lake doesn't have a lot of places to camp actually. It's pretty much just been bush and trees right to the water for the majority of this lake. So if you were to get caught in a storm out there, you know, you don't really have too many places to pull over and have a good spot to set up a tent. So if you're gonna paddle Cat Lake, you know, hopefully the weather's good for you, and if not, then it seems to be about every 3 to 5 kilometers there's at least something that could be a marginal bush site, but other than that you're going to be hacking your way through the bush with saws to get a tent in there. So a couple nice spots, like some of these beaches and rocky out points will do nicely.
We soon entered a vast, slow-moving section of the Cat River. Before us lay an unbroken landscape of marshes and a horizon that melded water, forest, and sky as one unvarying line.
It's just featureless. Yeah, just sea of grass, trees to water, and no ridges. We've almost gone 40K and it's like 4 o'clock, and there's absolutely no campsites around whatsoever. So we're trying to make a big push up to Pishu Falls, which is still another, I don't know, 10K away.
See that very small hill in the distance? That is the first hill we've seen in like 8 hours. So this is very exciting for us. You probably can't even see it because it's so small.
It's 20 meters high.
But trust me, it's beautiful.
We're here on the banks of the Cat River below Pishu Falls. Long day. We're gonna make a really nice dinner tonight. Something that's gonna fill us up and reward us for nearly 50 kilometers of paddling out there today. So really nice spot too. We actually just carved it out of the bush. There wasn't a lot of rock today in some sections, but coming up this northern part of the Cat River, there were some rocky banks, and we were able to get to a tent in the back there under some nice sphagnum moss, and then cut out a little area for us to sit and relax as we eat some dinner. Not a bad spot, actually.
What are we cooking, Chef Brad?
Cheesy mac and cheese with beef, and there's lots of it. I mean, we're starving after doing nearly 50K, so there's enough beef to feed a family of 4 probably, and then probably enough mac and cheese to feed a family of 4. This is gonna be pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to this. I was craving like something rich, stick to your ribs, and tasty all day, and I think this is gonna do it.
This is what a post 49.5 kilometer day looks like.
Oh, cheesy goodness.
It is so good. Oh man, it was worth the 50K.
Is it good because it's 50K, or is it good because we...
Probably both. But, like, I would eat this at home every night.
You gained like 300 pounds.
Not if I canoe 50K a day.
Yeah, it's calories in, calories out day. This is a perfect meal for that.
Tomorrow, we would leave the Cat River system behind and begin what promised to be the most challenging section of our journey as we neared the height of land and the watershed divide.
It is another gorgeous morning here on the Cat River. We are starting things off with a 480 meter portage around Piscataway Falls. We went up there last night looking for a campsite. Couldn't really find a good campsite, so we paddled back about 500 meters to this spot where we made up a bush camp. When we were looking for a campsite around Piscataway Falls, we stumbled across the old Portage Trail. Now the Portage Trails up to this point have been pretty good, but now as we're starting to approach the height of land, it's kind of evident that there's less canoe travel or even hunting and fishing travel from the First Nations up to some of these portions up here. So the trail at Piscataway, it's there, but the landing is all obscured by like tag alders and whatnot. Hey.
Hi. Clearing our way to the boat.
The good news is the trail beyond there looks pretty good. And 2 minutes later, you now got your trail back, or your landing. Maybe we don't know what's in store for us down the trail, so saws in hand, let's do it.
Beautiful, clear trail.
We got the silkies out there today, and we'll do a bit of clearing just at the landing, and then if there's any obstructions on the trail, hopefully the remainder of that portage today is fairly easy going. We do have a few more portages on the day. We really haven't done much portaging on the trip, but now is when things get interesting.
I started feeling a little disheartened and nervous about just how hard this part of the trip was going to be. I have a feeling we're going to be entering into the type 2 fun portion of this trip. I have a feeling it's going to be mostly like this, where you can't even see the landing and you go find somewhere else to land, and then you accidentally stumble upon the portage maybe like 150 meters up. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the adventure, so I'm excited. Hopefully there's not too many fallen trees.
So we're tracking and wading our way upriver because there's no portage here. Rightly so, it's a class 1, so anyone going down is just gonna go down the river here. I mean, this being a historic fur trade route too, it might have made more sense for those coming down. From some of the literature I read, it sounded like they were going up the throat and then down into the cat system. Oh, it's refreshing.
You look good.
We don't have too much. There's about 3 or 4 more of this on the river before we get up to the lake. and it's a nice sunny day, thankfully, because it's been cool the last couple of days. So thankfully, it's actually quite refreshing to wade through the water right now.
Headed west for the first time on our journey, we paddled our way upstream through the tranquil waters of the Kamigunish River.
We were met with a striking landscape of jack pine, spruce, and weathered rock. The lone obstacles, a handful of quaint rapids and falls, carved their way through the rugged landscape. Travel was easy and spirits were high.
Oh, otters!
Is that what those are?
2 otters right there.
Yeah, I know. I saw a head pop up.
One final watercourse, Quintosh Creek, was all that separated us from Sleep Lake and the height of land. A small ribbon of blue on the map, it seemed unopposing, and we gave its passage little thought as we reveled in the beauty of our present surroundings.
So we're going up Quintosh Creek. There's supposed to be a 500-meter portage on our left, but it's just area of blowdowns, and I walked through it trying to find any semblance of a trail. I could barely find anything, not even signs that someone had been there in the past. The landing here looked like there was one little piece of garbage, really weathered and faded, so that's the only sign that someone had been here before. So now we're going to try to creek whack up Quintosh Creek, and we're going to get canyoned out up here. It goes through a bit of a slot canyon, so I don't know what we're going to do when we get up that way. It's 5:50. We're about to embark on a bushwhack slog. Not our idea of late day fun. This is gonna be brutal. Oh boy. Okay, just watch your steps through some of these. You might find other ways around that I didn't. This is gonna be shit. Oh my god. Slot Canyon. Wow. And from down there, we could probably get the canoe in the water and then I could line it, but let's get the packs over first. So we gotta come up that somehow. Yeah. Oh, man. So by taking the packs up, or at least one of the packs, the boat will potentially move a little easier over this stuff. Friggin' slog and a half. Oh. Definitely creek whack with the canoe, but obviously we gotta go back and get it and then come up. Oh man, we're gonna get to our site at like 8. The sunset is like 8:30. Wow, this is a gorgeous creek though. Lots of rock over there.
Whoa, you are fast.
Quintosh Creek, an unexpected quagmire of blowdowns and slot canyons. We were in the thick of it now. There was no easy way out.
Here we go. Nicely done.
This was our first real trial. The adjacent forest was near impossible to bushwhack a canoe through. So despite the challenges and dangers of wading up the creek, it was our best option to keep forward momentum. Our struggles up Quintosh Creek typifies the essence of wilderness tripping in the Little North. Even when the path ahead seems impossible, you find a strength deep within and forge ahead.
What fun it is to paddle Quintosh Creek. Or not paddle. Whoo! What a day. What a bunch of days.
Wow.
So that was a 2-hour tour of Quintosh Creek. And as you can see over top, it looks like we've got some storms coming in. Just like, you know, why not? Throw in some thunderstorms when we're already soaking wet.
The day was wearing on. As the heavens erupted and the sun dipped lower on the horizon, it seemed as if the Little North was testing our very worth. If Quintosh Creek was any indication of what the headwaters would contain, then the next few days would undoubtedly test our strongest resolve.
It's not a bad looking lake though. Ooh-wee. Well, we've made it to the height of land, and yeah, it was pretty hard to get up here. Quintosh Creek definitely was tricky, having to drag the canoe through that. A lot of blowdowns took out the old Portage Trail. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring trying to get over to the Throat River, but if it's anything like that, it's going to be tricky. So the good news is it's only 11K that we want to go tomorrow. We could go even less if we need to, but it's going to be a long, difficult day at Portage, and it seems so. Right now, though, we are at camp. We found a nice little flat spot here on aptly named Sleep Lake, and evening is setting in. Moon is out over there. Just gotta get something nice and hot into us and then hit the hay, because yeah, for a day that we actually thought we were gonna get here in good time, ended up being a bit more of a slog. So that's what expedition canoeing's all about. So today we're going to cross the height of land into a small chain of lakes and creeks that lead us into Tinker Lake. And Tinker Lake is basically where the Throat River almost starts. It starts a little further north of Tinker Lake, but beyond that it's just a little narrow winding creek. But beyond Tinker Lake, that's where the majority of flow on the Throat River starts to pick up. Today our goal is to cross the height of land. There's a series of who knows what type of portages in store for us. This area has seen a lot of blowdown. We've pretty much allowed all day for us to go 11 kilometers, which is a fraction of what we've been going for the majority of this route thus far. We'll be slogging through the woods. I think once we get to a bog midway through, that should facilitate some easier travel, but it's getting to the bog, which is like 800 meters to a kilometer through potentially thick, dense boreal forest. that could be the struggle. Yeah, eh?
You never tell, those beavers get me every time.
Well, it looks like a trail, so let's check it out.
Oh my god. We thought after yesterday's slog up Quintosh Creek that the 1800 meter portage would be absolutely not a portage. It would just be an 1800 meter bushwhack. Not too sure what happened, but we'll take it and we're grateful. There'll probably be some blowdowns as we get further down the trail, but at least we're not starting the trail bushwhacking. So.
Oh man. This is pretty good. I mean, I was really thinking we were gonna get the bushwhack slog. Some of the old reports I read from people doing the crossing to the throat in the 90s said they had some of the worst bushwhacking they've ever encountered in their life. But going through this trail, which looks like it's been used a lot for many years, it probably is the historic fur trade route, it's hard to imagine crazy bushwhacks. We're also going through a lot of bog area, which in the boreal, you have a lot of these sphagnum bogs. They're poor nutrients, high acidity, so not a lot of plant matter grows here. And because of that, you tend not to get a lot of trees around it, and they preserve the trail really nicely. Also, the sphagnum makes a nice divot down the middle, and it preserves a footpath for a long time.
It's very mushy, so it takes almost twice the effort to move because you have to pull your feet constantly out. And in a way, it's probably good we got all of our clothes and boots completely soaked yesterday when we were shoving our canoe up friggin' slot canyon, because now that our feet are completely soaked from also doing this bog, it doesn't feel quite as disheartening. But poor Brad has the canoe over his head, so he's not just sinking a normal amount, he's double sinking. So I imagine he's probably very exhausted. Oh my God, finally.
So we've crossed the height of land, and this watershed, all the waters from here flow into Lake Winnipeg. So now we're going downstream, thankfully. And yeah, we're getting a lot of rain today, so maybe that means the water levels in the creek will be up a little bit too. So pretty happy that that portage was there. I mean, we got to give thanks to the First Nations trappers who kept that portage alive and keeping it passage for recreational canoeists like ourselves. So onwards, downstream now. There is about 4 sets of what I've marked on the map as class 1s, and as you can see, it's pretty much just little riffles and boulders. It's August, so it's low water. We're portaging in stream for the most part, or lining and wading. It's not too difficult. Most of these sets are really, really short, thankfully. So I think we've got a stretch of about 1 kilometer of potential open water creek travel before we get to another few little sets like this. But yeah, it just slows you down a little bit, but it's honestly not too bad. Oh. Yeah, what can I say? We're going downstream now, so that's awesome.
We slowly made our way down the inky black waters of the headwater stream. There was barely enough water to float our canoe, and the hours melted away as the meters drifted on by.
We got tailwind though.
As we neared the junction with Tinker Lake, a stiff wind whipped up, and a dark wall of clouds marched steadily over the horizon.
I don't know, they're getting bigger out here. Yeah, here's a big one. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think the wave's changing a bit here, so when it gets calm, I'm gonna tack, and then we'll go down to that far shore. And then we'll work our way down that far shore by tacking in and out a couple times. Calm stretch, tack. Okay, now up. And we'll ride them in. Down to those like big boulders. And then as we get closer, we'll tack again. Just get ready to catch any wave that's gonna surf with you, okay? Like that one. There's another one. Yep. So we're trying something new this trip. These are black bean burgers, and it was freeze dried, a giant pack we bought. Calls for 1 cup of water, and then you let them hydrate, and then we can bake them or grill them over the fire rather. So we're gonna check it out. Okay, this is really interesting. Ta-da! This will be interesting. Burgers after a week of camping. It's a new concept to us, so we'll see how these work out.
Almost tastes better than meat burgers.
Maybe because you've been out here for a week.
Maybe.
They do taste good though.
They taste amazing. Like, again, I would make these at home.
It'd be nice to enjoy the site and do some fishing and stuff. We got here in a decent time too, but the wind is just howling across the lake. It's crazy windy and rainy out there. Temperatures dropped a lot too. And I don't think it's supposed to let up for a while either. So yeah, we'll see. Tomorrow we're going down the Throat River proper now. It's all downhill from here, but with this cold, wet weather and this windy weather, we'll see about getting down there, but yeah.
Ready to finally hit the throat though?
Yeah. I want to make it to Whitelaw, where we can have a rest day in the sun.
Today we're actually going to be heading down the Throat River proper for the first time on our trip. I mean, this was the big goal of our trip, is to find a way over to the throat, retrace this fur trade route in the process, and then work our way down river. Optimistic, excited. I mean, it is cool, it's damp. It's kind of been cool, damp, and rainy for the majority of our trip. Throat River, baby. Feels good, doesn't it? It's like all this time we were anticipating the slog to get here and, you know, the big lake travel, and now we make it to this river that we're gonna take down from basically its start to its finish. It's pretty cool. A little bit of low water here on the headwaters of the Throat, but kind of expected this late in the season. Also when you're taking the upper branches of a river, not in the springtime.
It's our first rapid of the day, and it's just way too bouldery to go down. And we have probably about 2 kilometers of this, so it's gonna be a very slow start to the day. But that's the Throat River, so I'm sure it'll be worth it once we get down. And there is our next one that we have to do in 50 feet.
There's enough flow that we can line the canoe out without really gouging the gel coat or anything like that. It's kind of just rolling over these rocks. A few more streams will be flowing into the river in the next couple kilometers, so hopefully it's going to pick up some volume as we work our way down river here. Pulling the stern over. Yeah. Not bad though. The last 2K has been taking us probably 45 minutes, so we're probably averaging around 2.5 kilometers an hour. Log jams down the upper throat. Sawing some of the bigger ones out of the way. Keeping these nice rollers on the bottom here so that we can get over the canoe and just kind of bump it over, pull it over, slowly make our way down river. There we go. Man, you know what I said that we were going like 2.5 kilometers an hour? Little white lie. We just got slowed right down. I think we're going about 1 kilometer an hour. I mean, the throat's gonna be challenging at any time of the year for you. However, we're making her. I knew it was gonna be a hard day. Man, today's been a grind. Wading, lining through small streams, log jams, going through bushwhack portages, cutting some trails to get the canoe through, finding traces of the old portages, doing a bit to re-clear some sections just so we can move through.
You may be hearing him grunting, but Brad's balance and his ability to portage through literally any bush is beyond me. He can balance on like his pinky toe with 120 pounds on his back and over his head without the use of his hands for balance, and can make it up a hill. Like, he must have been a ballerina in a previous life or something. I'm not too sure. I did ballet for 13 years and like I have nothing on him. So he could be a principal lead in like the Nutcracker if it was like bush crashing version or something.
Thankfully some of the boreal is nice and open, but there's lots of blowdowns and stuff throughout there too that can make travel pretty tricky at times. But our average speed of the day so far is a blistering 2.2 kilometers an hour. And the only reason we've gone a little faster is some of these smoother sections that have now punctuated some of these little falls and boulder guards. Painting the Throat River with the color of yellow. Follow the Yellow Rock River. I will say this river is pretty though.
Yeah. A little bit of a at times, but it's pretty, that's for sure.
So if my map is right, i.e. if I marked it up correctly, we should be approaching about a 5 kilometer stretch of oxbows and meandering section of the river where there's no obstacles besides maybe a beaver dam or whatnot. So fingers crossed that's where we're at. But we'll see. It'd be nice to have some paddling for a while actually instead of slogging. We're pretty zonked.
The headwaters were everything we had imagined them to be. Remote, challenging, forgotten, and lost to the ravages of time. With only faint traces hinting at former use, it was almost unfathomable to think that others had traveled through here before. The lands of the Little North are in a constant state of natural change, and the footsteps of history are slowly devoured by the encroaching forest. Our time is only fleeting, but the rhythms of the Little North remain.
Make sure it doesn't get away too far from me, okay?
Okay.
Okay, hold it tight. Okay, let it go. Slack, slack. Slack, 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 slack. Woo! Ha-ha! Yeah! We made it. Look at that. Whitelaw Lake. Sun is starting to go down, but we made it, and we are gonna stay on this lake for 2 nights. Well-deserved rest day. Now we just gotta find a spot to stay at, so. Awesome. Super stoked.
This is the best moment ever. Let's go get a campsite before we lose sun. The beginning of the headwaters where it was just like go 100 meters, then drag the canoe over boulders for 800, and then go 100 meters and then drag it for another 500, which felt like forever, and it was forever. Realizing that it does come to an end at the end, and that you're always rewarded with a really amazing sight, and it's always worth it. So.
So it's rest day, got lots of time on our hands, and I brought lots of stuff to bake with just because it's a longer trip too. It takes up a little less space, and nothing tastes better than fresh baked goods out here in the backcountry. So today I'm gonna try to make some apple cinnamon biscuits here. So I have some Biscuits here. I got 2 cups. I've got dehydrated milk, and for this ratio I'm doing about 2/3 cup dehydrated milk to 2 cups of Biscuits. We'll whisk this up. So we'll add this to our Biscuits here. I'm gonna add some pre-mixed cinnamon spice, allspice here that we made up at home. Add a bit of white sugar as well. I also dehydrated apple slices. I'm just gonna break these up, chunk them into here. So now I'm gonna lightly grease pan, in this case just a little pie plate here. Got some oil. Evenly coated and the edges too so that it doesn't burn.
Would be like a apple loaf.
Yeah. So I'm gonna cook it on the reflector oven here. I've got this nice rock wall built on the other side of the fire. It's already throwing a lot of heat off on me. With the reflector oven, it's gonna catch all that heat, gonna reflect it right down into our dish. So we also have some honey powder. Basically, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of water to honey, and then you boil it afterwards to get a nice liquid honey.
The honey is like soaked in to the top of it, so it's like a really moist, almost tastes like an apple fritter. It's pretty amazing. Chef Brad has struck again, or Baker Brad does this all the time. It's really good.
Yeah, little pike, put him back. I'm trying to go for a walleye right now. Not bad though. See you, buddy. A little pike, eh? See you, buddy.
While the fishing was unfortunately lackluster, the rest day was a welcomed reprieve from our journey over the height of land and across the headwaters. The strain of the past week had taken a noticeable toll on our bodies, and we relished the relaxing change in pace. Well rested, we were eager to continue our journey and paddle the waters that lay beyond. The remainder of the throat promised a new set of challenges and rewards as we ventured down its course to its confluence with the Barrens River.
Another rainy, cloudy day out here in the Boreal. Seems it's either rainy and cloudy or it is sunny and super windy. So we are on the last day of August 31st, heading into September tomorrow. So the days just fly by out here. So today we're going to be making our way down the Throat River. We're at Whitelaw Lake right now. And from here on in, the Throat River should be a lot wider. We're going to start facing some rapids every day, and hopefully they're runnable rapids because there's more flow on this stretch of river. We feel all rested up from yesterday's rest day, and we're ready to tackle the remainder of the Throat.
Well, rain's good for something, I guess. Quite a current.
First rapids on this section of the Throat River. It looks like a class 1, maybe class 2. pretty much a class 1, I'm going to say at this point. So good news, we're going to run this one down at the Portage, and yeah, we got a few more rapids on this stretch. This should be pretty fun. Finally, a bit of moving water. Yep, just center here, and then we'll kind of follow the channel off to the right. Yep, nice. And there'll be a bit of a ledge up here. We'll want to avoid this strainer. Nice. Well done. Love that we could actually run a rapid. Looks like a bit of a bony line here. Definitely lower flow. We're going to kind of weave our way through on an S. Can't see what's all the way down there. Might have to catch an eddy, but if it continues like this, then we're pretty solid. There you go. Look at that. Up, yep. Nice. Well done. Okay, so we'll take it, flush out to the left over there. We'll know in seconds if it's a good line or not, or if we have to catch that eddy. I think we gotta get the bow to the other side of that rock on the left, yeah. Okay, is the bow clear? Man, she's bony. Oh my God. Yeah. Straight ahead. And then we'll flush the V all the way down. Just missed it. Now do it, now do it, now do it. Yeah. Nice. Okay, ready? Woo! What a bony So there's supposed to be a portage on that set of rapids, and from the shore we couldn't see anything anyways. Pretty bony, even with all these rains. I mean, it's August 31st, so clearly it's going to be a little lower. Still pretty fun though. So made her, and we're continue down river for a little bit until we get some more.
Though the waters of the throat were deepening, we remained cautiously optimistic that the struggles of the headwaters were but a hopeful, distant memory.
There's a good class 2 over here. But it's like Strainer City because of all these blowdowns. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go try to take out some of these strainers and sweepers so we can have a safe passage down here. It's friggin' wet. It's raining. Damn miserable. Son of a. That's not coming out. There's more down there you can't see. And then there's this gnarly little ledge that's too bony. You just go right over into the damn strainer. Bushwhack portage it is. We can't run this. Frig.
Currently we're on the 350 meter portage, which is of course the longest one on the river. And naturally there's a bunch of fresh blowdowns across the entire set of rapids. So we have to bushwhack because normally you could probably run this. So there's not a good portage. And Brad is being ballet Brad again and bush crashing through this horrible bush with a canoe over his head. Wow. Success.
Mixed bag. You get a blowdown, and because only probably a handful of people do this route every like 20 years or so, trails quickly get swallowed up by the bush. So shame we couldn't run that. Hopefully have some nice bigger sets ahead of us. Oh God, bony, bony, bony. Some nice standing waves right here. We'll take you down. There's two rocks that we want to weave through, cut to the far left, and then whip around out to the pool below. Should be a pretty fun run. Bony, eh? We're good right here, eh? Pull, 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 pull. Pull, 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 pull. Yeah, there you go, nice. Well done. Not bad. We got this nice point, and we're just overlooking a good section of Willis Lake here. We're actually able to catch the sunset for once. It's usually been pretty cloudy in the evenings and stuff. Haven't seen much in the way of a sunset, but tonight I think we'll be treated to a bit of a sunset here, and watching rain clouds kind of miss us off in the distance. But yeah, we're gonna have a hearty dinner here.
Yeah, they're like not far enough at all.
Pretty chilly day out here. It's actually starting to feel like fall now. Feeling like temperature's starting to get down to single digits. We got really, really cold today. It poured on us, did that absolutely abysmal bushwhack portage. But thankfully we were actually able to run some fun little short rapids on the throat. Did a bit of fishing today, just caught one pike. Hopefully having more time tomorrow or in the next few days, I'll do more fishing and stuff too.
The cool clutches of fall were slowly creeping in. Summer in the little north is fleeting, and the dance of the changing seasons takes an early lead.
Warming ourselves by the inviting glow of the fire's comforting embrace, we pondered what changes the river had in store for us on the latter part of our journey.
Good morning. Tuesday, September 1st. We are into a new month out here,
and it's feeling like fall. Pretty chilly today. Temperatures got down to low single digits, I'd guess, last night. And there's quite the wind. I mean, the rain is thankfully cleared away and the sun's out. We're gonna be making our way further down the throat today as well. A couple rapids earlier in the day and then some larger lake paddling. So hopefully these winds kind of keep to it as a tailwind, but the gusts are coming in at like high 30s, low 40s right now. So yeah, another cold, windy day out here.
Chilly. It feels very chilly, but you know, I don't know what else to say. It's just cold and windy. I want a hot chocolate.
The challenges are hard, but they're worth it in the end. And this is turning out to be a really incredible route. Really, really enjoying it. Really excited to see what it has in store for us today. Hopefully it's a little easier and we can enjoy some of this lovely sun, albeit the bitter cold wind. See you on the water.
Nice straight flush. There might be a boulder or two at the bottom of it. Well, we kissed on that one. Really nice day it turned out to be here on the Throat River. We're getting to a section now where I've marked a couple rapids in close proximity. C1, C2, C1, falls. Yeah, there's some standing waves at the bottom of that bad boy.
Okay.
But I think we just flush through and we'll push through it. Yeah, kind of in the middle and then shoot off to the right. And there's a rock we'll just want to avoid, but I think you'll see it. That lip over there looks like a falls. Nice looking class 2 plus here. Nice smooth tongue coming down. Curler here, but then you get down to this. And this ruins the run. There's no clean exit. There's a boulder, 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 there's a boulder. And then in behind there's more boulders. If you don't weave through that correctly, you're pinning it. We only got one canoe. We've got like 150 more kilometers to go. I don't want to risk anything stupid for a bit of adrenaline. So we're gonna line and grind on the far shore instead of portaging. Sometimes you just gotta do safety first instead. All right, well, that beats portaging, but too bad we couldn't run that. So we got ourselves a wavy class 3 here. Good drop, good wave train at the end. Nice big pool should we flip. But we're just gonna try to power on through this bad boy. All right, I think this is our line. You ready? Up, yep. That's our ledge, and here we go. Oh, baby! Wow! Awesome. First like decent set of rapids we could actually run on the Throat River, and man, it didn't disappoint. Nice little wave train through there, got the bow submerged. What a blast. So the river's definitely changed now. We've kind of lost the rock, and we have large wetlands on either side, tag alders and birches, and then behind are tamarack, spruce, and some jack pine. Really wide, slow meandering stretch too. Haven't seen this at all on the trip so far, so just a different place to paddle, really. kind of cool. Really, you get a sense of how small you are out here. With everything just so vast and flat and open.
The throat was changing before our very eyes. The rocky shores were giving way to a broad expanse of wetlands interwoven in a green sea of boreal forest that marched far beyond the distant horizon.
We are just reaching Madden Lake right now, and just starting to rain again. We got really lucky with some sunshine today, but it's been on and off rain like for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 days now, so this trend is continuing. And when these rainstorms blow in, the wind really whips up. About to get hit by the full force. Whoa! Just as we hit an open water crossing, of course we gotta get a storm. It's just how it goes, eh? We might be able to sneak our way slowly down that shore and get down to those narrows. These narrows might be more conducive for camping. And because there's 3 points to it, we might be able to find a spot that's out of the wind on one of them. That seems to be improving a bit. We made it to our campsite on Madden Lake here. Just kind of beat all the raindrops and stuff getting the tent set up and whatnot, but more storms on the horizon. Really cold, cool, damp day. There's a mist in the air right now as well too. It seems for the last couple of days we can't go more than 12 hours of sunshine before we get more inclement weather. So really starting to feel like fall, and actually some of the trees are changing color. I mean, we're almost at the 52nd parallel. That's pretty north. In terms of length of summer, it's not too long up here. So September 1st today, and already starting to see some of the poplars and birches busting out with a bit of yellow. So we definitely smashed into a huge rock on one of these rapids. Took out the skid plate, which is like a harder weave, is actually cracked. You can see it has actually come off. So we're gonna reinforce it, do some field repairs, get this boat back in working order to tackle some more rapids. So this is a marine grade sealant that I keep in my canoe repair equipment kit at all times. It goes on like a clear goop, and it cold seals within 12 hours, which gives us enough time before tomorrow for it to set and hit the water. The only problem here is it rains all the time. I'm hoping I can get this on and it stays dry enough, or that it will adhere in the rain. So we'll see. This should create a barrier between the Tough Stuff weave and the boat. This can wear. I don't want this to wear and fray, so it's always important to have a barrier. So we'll see how that holds. Canoe has about
5,000 kilometers on it, give or take, right now. I mean, this trip has just been slowly eating away at some of the gel coat. Actually, the spots that I reinforced and added an extra bunch of gel coat to, all that abrasion on the rivers, there's no damage to it whatsoever. Places that it's the original factory gel coat, after about 5,000 kilometers of hard river tripping like we do, you can start to see where it's worn a bit.
The little north never fails to find new ways to test your resolve. A voyage through these wild lands pits one against the elements and unknowns. In the process, putting your perseverance, knowledge, and patience through the paces. Humbled canoes and inclement weather are recurrent trials, binding the lived experiences of travelers throughout the ages.
We are making hot toddies in a blistering rainstorm.
Because it's miserable outside.
So why not?
Ooh, mama.
A lot of rain yesterday. Everything is just completely soaked as always. I mean, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. It's the nature of the trip right now. We've got a lot of lake travel today, or at least wide river travel. We got to get up through Madden Lake, and then we're going through a section where the throat is really, really wide. We'll be paddling through there until we get to a series of rapids and falls, and hopefully tonight we'll be staying by one of the waterfalls.
Just did first portage of the day on the throat. Bypasses like two sets of ledgy, bouldery, class 3 falls. The one side is more of a falls and a ledge, the other side's more of a chute. Once you do the portage, it's a really nice class 2 plus run at the very bottom of it. Good portage at this point in time too, so nice place to just stop and have a break.
The rhythm of the river was quickening. Wider, pushier rapids lay ahead as the throat deepened and broadened its course.
Furthest north we have ever paddled. I think we just crossed the 52nd parallel here. Either that or we're like a stone's throw away from it, but yeah, pretty cool. This is quite a ways up here. From here on in though, the river starts to head south, and we're heading down towards the Barrens River from here on in. Crazy! As if on cue again, it's like every day mid-afternoon, it's 3 o'clock. We lose our gorgeous blue sky and we get this crazy rain, windstorm crap.
Just like straight line headwinds.
Just won't be nice weather for more than like 8 hours.
miserable. So we're by a pretty big set of rapids or falls right now. Not sure what side the portage is on. We already scouted river right, couldn't find anything but a big rocky ridge. Ron River left, we ferried over here. We're basically at the brink of the rapids and the falls. Doesn't help that with all the rain we've got, the river is pretty high right now, so portage landings are pretty much obliterated. The first falls we just portaged over was a decent trail, but right here, as far as I can tell, there's nothing. There might be something further down, but there's the rapids start right there. So maybe in lower water it's a safer bet, but right now, nuh-uh, looks like we're bushwhacking, and it looks like it's some pretty shitty bush too.
Man, this is shit. The day was wearing on, as once again we found ourselves in an all too familiar predicament. A fortification of dense bush had swallowed up all traces of the portage, and we reluctantly resorted to yet another bushwhack slog. The angry waters of the tumbling river were a backing symphony, slowly rising to a crescendo as we neared the end of a descent back to water's edge.
Wow. So here's the interesting part. There's a set of falls that we just portaged around, and then going off of what I have on the canoe atlas a little north, there's supposed to be 2 runnable rapids beyond here. I'm looking at a good last 2 little ledge right here, small pool, and then beyond that I see more white water, and it's not a really good spot to scout. So we're gonna try to paddle across to an island over there, scout ahead, see if we got a good line. Good news is if we take the left line, there's an easy access pool on the other side in case we need to peel out, and then we can scout the bottom portion. If the bottom portion's just pushy, then it should be a good run. Else we're gonna be doing more bushwhack portaging, and it's not high on my list of fun things to do right now.
Yeah, we'll take the far line here. We'll weave it around, go down. I can see calm water on the other end of the other flow. It looks the same, but we should catch that eddy in the pool, yeah. So we'll kind of go down the wave train a bit, try to pop out to the left. Just be careful because it'll try to spin us quickly here, okay? And then there's enough calm water for us to scout our next maneuver. I think we should be good on the next one. I just can't tell from here. It might be more of the same. Look at that! That was pro. That was amazing, babe. Oh, we both did that. All right, part 1 down.
And let's hit part 2. Looks like a good little class 3 here.
It's a bit of a rager, but it's just pushy. So just ready to brace and watch for any boulders. It doesn't scream boulders to me, but there's all the hidden ones, right? See, good drop to it, but just a straight drop. Okay. Love you too, babes. Remember to brace. Forward, 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 this way. Forward, forward, hard, hard, hard. Yeah, there you go. Nicely done. Yahoo! Holy f, that was great.
Find us a campsite, we must. Looks like a lot of this is old burn too. Which means it's like super tight. And when you went up there, you said it was like tight growth, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, rapids are fun, but
To the bush site.
a lack of campsites is horrible. This is vomit. Nice. That actually is a clean line. It's a very clean line. You did a really good job there when we went a little sideways. Nice loose hips. We have had to carve out a bush site. It's getting pretty late. After we did all those rapids and falls, the river really changed. There was no longer any rock around us, and the banks are starting to get more alders and young growth on the sides. So we found a higher bank with a bit of rock down on the bottom there, and nice spruce forest with some moss for the tent in behind, because everything else is just way too thick. So cut out a bit of a bush site here, and it'll have to do because yeah, we were just paddling and finding nothing, so it's what it is.
Today was hard for me. I got sillily emotional when we finished the first set of falls and I saw the impending second set of falls, and not knowing what side the portage was on, which just got to me, and then seeing this massive set of falls and then 2 other big drops and having no idea what was around the bend, and I could see all the splashing, and I just got in my head and just got a little flustered. But there's literally nowhere else you can go, so you have to kind of just get over it and go down and keep a cool head about you, have your moment, and then just sort of push through, I suppose, which is good. I guess that's one of the best things about being out here, is you kind of learn a little bit more about what you're capable of, and when hard things are put in front of you, you really don't have an excuse to quit, so you just have to kind of keep moving forward.
All right, good morning. Happy 13th day of our trip. Hopefully it's actually a lucky one. Today we'll be passing by Zeller Lake, and as far as we know, that's a traditional hunting and fishing ground for Pikangikum First Nation. So the portages below Zeller might actually be in decent shape. I mean, yesterday there was a mixed bag of conditions. We had some good portages, some decent portages, and some bushwhack portages. So hopefully we're done with the bushwhack portaging as we go further down the river. I mean, those can be a pretty big slog trying to push the canoe through dense boreal forest.
Miles and miles on the clear blue skies, we drive straight as an arrow flies. Nowhere to be, no dreams to chase tonight. We've got time to waste, let's waste it.
Anyways, should be a really good day out there, and we'll see how she goes. Just another awesome day out here. Really can't get over how, you know, alone and remote we are out here. It's just fantastic. No signs of anyone else around here, and yeah, it's It's pretty special.
You and I, heads up in the clouds, recorder with the birds flying south. Nothing to see as the day.
Okay, so make our way over, yeah. Just passing by Zeller Lake. The throat just touches it on the northern tip of the lake, and Zeller goes down about 8 kilometers or so. It's nice to see some of the rock back actually, because this section of the throat's been pretty much just tag alders and bush on the shoreline. A few rocks obviously by the rapids and stuff, but for the most part it's pretty bushy, so if you're looking for a place to camp, there's few and far between. Looking down at the rocks in Zeller, though, it looks like it'd be a pretty sweet spot to camp. But not for us, we are going further down the throat today. Windy and cold day on the throat. Really starting to feel like fall. And headwinds. We've got pretty much headwinds all day. At this point in time is going west, and that means we are going right into the winds, unfortunately. What a powerful rapid. Look at that view. That is incredible.
The little North is kind in always rewarding a traveler's toil with some of its long forgotten secrets. Mesmerizing and powerful landscapes that few have borne witness to seemingly rise out of nowhere to momentarily slash across the vastness of the wild expanse.
So I'm attempting to fish again. It's been pretty friggin' windy every evening I've either wanted to go out fishing or we've got to the site with like an hour before sunset. So today, getting to the site at 3 o'clock, decided to go fishing. See if I can catch anything, but nothing seems to be biting and the wind seems to be blowing me all different places. Of course. 3 pike is all I've caught on this trip. It's pretty sad.
It's pouring rain again, and actually hail. Like, hail was bouncing off the rocks. Oh boy. This is why we made Long Island iced teas, so that we can't fully understand what's happening around us. Makes it a little bit more easy to take.
This is what I was saying, we can't go more than, I said 12 hours, but in reality it's more like 8 hours without, you know, weather moving in. So this has been rain. We've had rain every day for over a week now. I think we're in the rainforest. All right, let's get dinner started.
Shepherd's pie, baby. Often, the most memorable experiences are those that catch you by surprise. The Grand Rapids we had stumbled upon seemingly arose out of nowhere and appeared in astonishingly stark contrast against a uniform backdrop of the unwavering forest. That evening, we readily accepted their chaotic babble as we slowly drifted off to sleep.
Hey, another day, more showers. But I mean, thank goodness for this Northwater spray deck. Not only for just hitting the bigger rapids, but just keeping us dry and comfy in these intermittent showers. Keeps all the gear underneath the deck nice and dry too. Keeps the legs nice and dry, and on these cooler fall-like days, keeps the body a little warmer too, because you actually trap some heat underneath there. So really, in terms of just like comfort, versatility, and usage, I mean, a spray deck is pretty awesome, especially on a long canoe trip like this, where you don't know what the weather's going to be like on a day-to-day basis. All right, let's have some fun. We got some more stuff up around the bend. One up here has a portage on river right 80 meters, so we'll see if there's a runnable set there. After that, probably more stuff like that, easy peasy, and maybe one slightly larger set. So not too crazy of a day in terms of rapids, but we'll see if we can run some of this bigger stuff. Okay, now we're talking. Now we got a good C2 plus, maybe approaching a 3 with these flows. Lots of standing waves, not a lot of rocks. Looks like it could be a really thrilling ride down. We'll take it on the right, try to avoid the big waves, and then go down.
Yeah.
Not too long too, so let's do it. Is that a rock in front of us, or is that just a curler?
I think it's just a curler.
Okay. Left.
Going straight.
Okay, well that was a little sketch. Woo! It was a good run except for that.
Yeah.
At the last moment we had to kind of just slot through this rock. Went slightly sideways but had the braces on and stuff and just went through there, no problem.
No more laissez-faire rapids.
We got a class 1 up ahead, so we need to be...
We need to focus.
Yeah. Hey, that's how she goes sometimes. Kept the open side up. That's all that counts.
Rapids and waterfalls are central to the crossroads of history. Where the waters are too turbulent for safe passage, travelers converge on a common path. Yet even where their footsteps have been lost to the ravages of time, the land still offers up whispers of their passage to those who listen.
Retracing this long-lost fur trade route, parts of the route still are used by First Nations communities at Cat Lake, Slate Falls, Pekanjicum First Nation, but there's lots of chunks of this river that barely ever see any human travelers whatsoever. I mean, evident from those bushwhack portages we were doing. Such an incredible spot. All right, big rapid on the throat. Woo! go through this fast, okay? Fast and clean. Yes! You are the bomb. Ready? Get ready for this. Yeah?
Holy
yeah! Wow! Woohoo! And here's our campsite. I mean, what an end to a day. Whew! Awesome rapids. Just a nice clean run. And right at the end of it, we have this gorgeous sandy beach. Just an amazing little view of the river down there. Got a nice spot for the tent back there, and we're gonna have a great spot for just enjoying ourselves for the rest of the evening a little later. So we're gonna get dinner on right now and just kick back and relax. Great day out here on the river. How do you feel about those rapids today?
This last one was pretty intense. I was pretty scared before we went over it. But then when Brad's like, oh, I'll just run it by myself. I'm like, no, he can't run it by himself. He's gonna flip. I don't wanna be a part of that. We did it and it was really, really good. It was just really big. Like, I felt like I was flying. I came off my chair a lot. I'm like reaching down to brace and I can't even reach because I'm so high in the air. It was good. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it's done, and I'm glad we're right here at our camp spot. And it's a beautiful spot. It's right on the beach.
Good morning, it is day 15 of our journey, and yeah, wow, what a great trip so far. Loving it, loving the solitude, loving the splendor, loving how the river changes almost around every bend. Really kind of cool to see a river evolve before your very eyes as you're paddling downstream. Just watching it get bigger and stronger and change its course as it carves its way through this rugged landscape. Places that most people don't want to get into just because of the sheer work involved, but the reward for seeing a river change from a mere trickle in a stream into a raging torrent of like thrilling white water is just, it's a powerful experience.
Sup? Like my grease? Sunscreen, baby. Oh man, we're in sand.
Sand screen.
Sand screen.
So we have made it to the confluence of the Barrens River, and thus concludes our journey down the throat. Big rivers, two of them meeting right here.
Can't believe we traveled the river all the way from its headwaters down to the end of it. You get really familiar with it.
Throat River did not disappoint. Shallow rapids, big crazy rapids, gorgeous rocky scenery, deciduous banks, lush wetlands, and gorgeous rocky lakes as well too.
Goodbye, Throat River.
So first little taste of rapids on the Barrens River. Just a little extra taste before we leave these river systems goodbye. Just a big hole. Portaging on the Barrens River, and we've come across a spectacular set of falls. Just unbelievable how powerful these are. Just incredible. Wow. That's something else, eh? Woo!
Mikami Falls, the final impediment of our journey. It seemed only fitting that our trip was coming to a close with some of the most dramatic scenes yet. We had paddled the river from its humble beginnings to a grand and splendid finale. It's a surreal and moving experience to witness a watercourse grow from a faint and tiny headwater trickle to a tumultuous pinnacle of rushing whitewater at its confluence.
Gorgeous Mikami Falls. Absolutely amazing, just raw power flowing over on the Barrens River there. Tumbles down, I don't know, I'd guess about 50 feet. Big drop at the start, and then a series of smaller cascades, and then just a big powerful rapid at the end. Incredible. Just amazing. Gorgeous evening here on Barrens Lake. Really fitting for our last night out here. Nice rocky point overlooking the long sweeping views of this lake here. Nice fire going. We're gonna get some tacos for dinner going on and just relax and enjoy our last full evening out here. Bittersweet that the trip's coming to an end, but yeah, it's been a great one, and you know, really fitting having a gorgeous view of this gorgeous lake. Quite a trip. Hard to put it in words. Something special. Throat River didn't disappoint. It was full of challenges, hard times, tricky weather, tricky situations, but to be honest, it was one for the ages and quite an awesome experience. So if you're looking for a real challenging trip in Northwestern Ontario, check out the Throat River. It won't disappoint at all. Except maybe the fishing.
As we unwound in the splendor of Barrens Lake, the Little North bestowed upon us one final parting gift, a watercolor tapestry splashed across the horizon by the fading light of the day's end.
Final day of our big Throat River adventure. It is a rainy one. We had a perfect evening last night, really enjoyed ourselves around the fire, but today obviously woke up pouring rain.
You know, what a perfect way to send us off with all this rain after we've had rain for an entire week, so.
Yeah, sad that our trip is coming to a close. This rain is kind of motivating us to get out of here and stop lollygagging and stuff, so a bit unfortunate, but man, this has been one unforgettable trip.
Taking the river right from the headwaters all the way down is kind of a special experience. You get to learn about the river, you get to know the river, and it was really, really incredible. It pushed me and challenged me in so many different ways that I didn't even think was really possible. Leaving this trip, I feel like I've just learned a lot and ready to take on whatever comes next.
The wilderness up here in Northwestern Ontario is just incredible. Just watching a river turn from a small stream to a giant, powerful, deep and wide body of water is quite a moving experience. And
it's amazing, and we've got to keep this alive. It's worth it.
wilderness paddling, eh?
Wilderness paddling all the way, baby.
It's bittersweet when a journey such as this reaches its inevitable conclusion. Despite the numerous hardships, you find yourself yearning for more. Out of the struggles, you develop a newfound appreciation for the land and an indescribable sense of connectivity with the elements that surround you.
All told, we had journeyed over 450 kilometers through a vast, unspoiled wilderness. Our travels had taken us across the large, windswept lakes of the Cat River system, over the seldom traveled height of land, and down the throat from its meager origins in the headwaters to its confluence with the Barrens and grand finale at Mikami Falls. The lands and waters of the Little North had captivated us. We had set out to retrace the past, but ended up shaping our future, forming memories and a deep connection to the land that would last beyond the final stroke of our paddles.
It had been one unforgettable journey across the Little North.
Make sure you keep the open side up when you're out there.